Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is Saturday, August 24th. This is Anything Goes Podcast with me, Chris, and of course, the Jimmy.
Let's get it.
Yeah, what's up? Get it. Man, I know we talked on the last show about, hunting season's right around the corner, but we've been having some freaking awesome pictures, man.
Yeah, it's a good sign. It's better than not, right?
It's one of those things where, I want to, show people the pictures, on here, I want to put them up on the screen or something. But I'm also like, yeah, well, there's some smart people, and they can geo track the picture where the lat and longitude of the picture.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. Well, we'll show them pictures after we get them. After we get
True.
them out.
True. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. Hey, we're streaming live on. So hold on. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Hey, we're streaming live. Give me a second here, because this apparently is echoing. So, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Hey, we're streaming live. Give me a second here, because this apparently is echoing. So,
technical difficulties.
I don't know. It's pretty cool. Hey, we're streaming. All right, how's that?
Yeah, I don't know how we did that. We haven't done that before.
Yeah, well, it's because I brought the YouTube page up and I didn't have it muted.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, like I was saying, we are streaming live on both Kick and YouTube. So I'll go to the Facebook later and post the links to the YouTube page and the Kick page again. You guys can watch us as we record this. And I think that would be pretty cool. So that way you don't have to wait for it to come out. So anyway, hunting, great pictures. We went up and did a lot of work up there today. Our hunting season here in Maryland starts in 2 weeks. So getting down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, can't get here fast enough, considering we're getting some good activity in our spots and good time of day.
Yep.
So yeah, we got to keep that rolling. Let's
sure.
get in it. I'm excited for early season. I'm gonna try to get it knocked out.
Yep, get it done. Get it done early.
Yeah, man. So, when it's warm too.
Yeah, for sure.
Good day overall, though, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, and then we went to a gun raffle, of course. So for those of you who don't know how gun, and I don't know if a lot of states do these or if this is just like our area type thing, but the fire departments put on. They're basically fundraisers for the fire department, but they're gun raffles. So you get you buy a ticket. There's anywhere between 14 and 20 guns on there. They draw. They sell, most of them sell 250 or 300 tickets. Every 25th ticket is a winner, to include the first ticket drawn out. So if they draw your number at number 1, you typically win a gun. And then if they draw your number out, then number 2 through number 24 are losers, and you're out of the drawing. And then the 25th one is a winner, and then so on and so forth throughout, all the way until they get to like 4 or 5 before the end. And then the last 4 or the last 5 all win guns. So, you've got probably I don't know, if it's 300 tickets and there's 20 guns on there. Yeah, you got like a 15% chance, I guess, of 15 to 20% chance of winning a gun if you only have one ticket. Of course, if you buy more than one ticket, then you have more of a chance. But And of course, guess who wins tonight? Not me,
I
not
know.
Jimmy, Megan.
She sure did.
Yeah. Yeah. So she won a really cool Colt Colt 1911 45 ACP. Beautiful gun. Yeah, it's Megan's year. Megan's won some good guns this year. She got that Sig Sauer, that rose gold Sig Sauer earlier this year. She's won a Weatherby. She's won a
Well, she won at that event last year too.
yeah. She won a pistol at that. She won a Taurus at it, a 40 Smith and Wesson at it last year. That's when I was in New Orleans tuna fishing because you and her went on a date.
Yep. Yeah. Crushed it. I'm a little bit distracted right now because we got a buck party going on at my hunting spot. There's 3 bucks hanging out eating my fresh corn.
Is it our big ones?
I don't think so. No, but they're all good sized deer. They just don't. But they're all bucks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a little distracting. It's fun though. It's fun to watch them and know they're hanging around close and they don't mind our activity up there.
Well, I'm glad you said. Let me ask you this. You know, in a technology sense, would you rather be surprised, like when the big guy shows up, not knowing that he was there, or do you like it better that we, you know, as soon as I step in front of this camera, it sends the pictures to our phone?
You mean be surprised, like, and not know that they're even on the property?
Yeah.
No, because I've sat enough hours sitting there wondering, waiting, and not knowing, and I've sat enough hours with nothing, and it's tough because if you just are thinking, well, I don't even know if there are deer on this property. What am I doing here? Why am I here? I experience that a lot. So me knowing that there is deer here, they're active in very different areas of the property, and yeah, that to me that gives me a lot of peace of mind that I'm on the right track, and it's only a matter of time. And so, hey, everything I have enough of a challenge. I don't need any more surprises. It is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Anybody that's hunted, I don't.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. No,
I kind of feel the same way. Like, of course, like any time during a hunting season, and especially as we get closer to like the rut and all that, you know, new deer show up anyway. Deer that you've never seen before show up. But generally speaking, historically at this property, we've had a ton of does all year long, and this year we have more bucks than we do does.
Yeah, I think maybe that the only bad part is knowing that there are big bucks, nice bucks there. When something small or whatever comes through, you may be a little bit more apt to let it go because you're like, oh, I'm waiting on this guy. But my mindset is going to be, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
If whatever presents, I'm going to take it and be happy with it. And, you know, eventually the nice one will come along, but I'm happy with whatever I get.
Well, and especially when you're talking about bow season, because getting them in range, you know, Jimmy and I both hunt with a compound bow. So getting them in range, you know, we see them up there. We've seen big bucks up there over the years. But getting them in bow range is a whole different story.
You got to be close.
Yeah, and you got to be ready, and you got to be paying attention.
I'm no like killer hunter, you know, shooting at 60 yards, 50 yards, whatever out. Like, no, I'm pretty much comfortable inside 30 yards. 30 yards or less. Other than that, I'm not going to be taking any risks.
I'm 100% the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got stung today quite a few times up there.
Yeah, Chris took one for the team for sure.
That was fun. Megan decided that she wanted her stand moved. So Jimmy and I went up there with my son and his son, actually, and moved her stand. And while doing so, right at the base of the ladder of her stand was an underground wasp nest,
Yeah.
and they got me. They got me good. My arm still hurts.
We didn't know they were there until
It's too
Chris
late.
Chris took the hit. That wasn't fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all good.
Could've been worse.
I didn't go into like anaphylactic shock or anything. So
Yeah, I mean, it really could have been worse because we stirred up a lot of them, and they
yeah,
could have
like
all
one
gotten
of
hit.
them.
Yeah.
The few B Navy SEALs that flew up to confront me, they stung me, but the rest of them stayed close to home.
Yep.
Which is also good because I was wearing Hey Dudes with no socks and a pair of shorts. So they really could have just destroyed my legs if they wanted to.
Yep. Yep.
But, all right. So we haven't talked about the DNC.
Yeah, so we had the DNC
Yeah.
kicked off and wrapped up this week.
Yep.
We had a big announcement by RFK yesterday, so that's why I was kind of glad we delayed this a little bit.
Yeah.
See that? And we got a lot of people on the right kind of joining forces and combating. Yeah. So what do you think about? Do you have any thoughts on the DNC?
So I thought it was pretty flat. There was a lot of promises made that just never came to fruition. Like she was going to give this big policy. They were going to really talk about, policy and how they were going to get things done and all that, and they really didn't do it. Mm-hmm. Her speech fell completely flat. I think she said Trump's name 47 times, but didn't mention the border, didn't mention the inflation, didn't mention the missing illegal immigrant children, didn't mention. And then, of course, she did say that, on day one, she's ready to fix a lot of problems. Well, she didn't address the fact that she's been in office for 3.5 years and hasn't done anything with any of those things. So, I left there thinking like, well, if you haven't done it in the last 3.5 years, why should I believe that you're going to start doing it now? And it's a simple answer. We all know she's pandering, and she's pandering because she was voted the most liberal senator when she was in the Senate.
Yeah.
The most progressive liberal senator in the Senate. And that's saying a lot because Cory Booker is pretty liberal, pretty much a liberal progressive also. And so she was ranked above him. She was ranked number one as the most liberal progressive senator in the Senate when she was there. So to think that she's going to change her mind, and they're also, they're using the new keywords are, joy, what is it? Joy and love, I think. And then also we need to look to the future and stop looking to the past. Well, it's interesting that the only past that they talk about is prior to 4 years or prior to 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
We need to look to the future and not the past. Well, when you talk about the past, you skipped 3.5 years of our past that you've been in charge. And they just won't talk about it. So those were kind of my takeaways. I have seen that she's not getting the bump coming out of it that I think, a candidate normally gets. And I think that is in large part to the fact that she really didn't do anything to move the needle beyond the people that were in that building.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. They're like you said, they're pandering to themselves. They're not really doing anything to sway, and actually they're being made to look really bad by the people that are uniting on the right, or uniting even not just on the right. They're just uniting with each other. Basically, everybody in the center and the right is uniting, say like, hey, this insane progressive extremism stuff is just not okay.
Right.
They're taking us down a terrible hole. Now, I didn't watch any of the DNC. I don't know. I'm so done. I see so much junk on the internet from these hardcore progressives, it just makes me sick. I can't even listen to it. Unless there's like an opportunity for a back and forth, I can't take it.
Yeah.
So I really only listened to a few of the recaps about it. So I don't know much of what happened. I don't really care.
Yeah.
An interesting stat I heard, and you kind of touched on it, was in the first day, Trump's name was mentioned 147 times in the first day alone. I think it was close to 400 for the entire duration of it. And you know
Yeah.
how many times Biden's name was mentioned in the RNC? Twice.
Yeah. Twice. Yeah.
Like the entire time. Like nobody cares. That's not what it's about. It's not just about that. You're talking about leftist platforms or leftist plans or lack thereof. That's about it. It doesn't. It's not about one person, but the left knows that if they can make it about one person, then that's their best chance because they can't actually attack the plans and the policies in any legitimate way. They try to. There's a bunch of talking points that are nonsense. They frame their own arguments. I see all this stuff. People talking about Supreme Court taking rights away
Right.
and the Project 2025 and the grand plans of this that Trump didn't even back up. It's not even his plan. Like, how many times are you going to say that? How many times has Trump mentioned it? Zero, other than to disavow it, basically.
And again, that's just pandering to the people that are in that building because I'm me, and I say it all the time. I am an internet troll on liberal, live TikToks and liberal live streaming on Facebook, liberal live streaming wherever they live stream. I'm going to be there. And what's interesting is since the DNC, you really don't. I really haven't, like, prior to the DNC, when Harris first announced, or when they first crowned her to be their candidate, there was a lot of live streams talking about how great she was and all that. Since the DNC, I have not seen it. I've seen a couple, but not even close to the amount that I was seeing. And I think that that's a sign that they know. What destroyed Kamala when she ran for president last time? When she got on the debate stage and debated other Democrats and got absolutely crushed, and she dropped out immediately after the debate because she had to. She just got destroyed. And I think that September 10th is the debate with Trump. And
I was going to ask you, did she back out of that?
I don't think she backed out of that one. I think she's not doing the Fox one on the 4th. And she's not doing. I don't think she'll do another one. She'll do the one because I think I think they're at least smart enough to understand that they have to do one.
Yeah, I don't really see the need to do a bunch of them unless they just don't get to the points that they wanted to get to.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be all for a long form, several hour event where you can actually touch on a lot of things, and it's not just this quick hit stuff that they have to move on, let each other talk. But yeah, it'll be entirely dependent on how that goes. But yeah, I think you mentioned that she backed out of the Fox one. But Trump, it sounds like Trump is
back out of it. They just never responded, is my understanding. Like they never even responded to the request.
I think they've acknowledged that they weren't going to do it. They weren't going to participate because Fox and format or whatever. But that's another telling, sign that. And what is the right turning down? They're not turning down anything. They'll say, you know what, you make the rules, you set the standard, whatever. That's fine. I'll be there. We'll deal with it. I can handle whatever you're going to dish out. And that's just typical across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody on the right is afraid to sit down and have conversations and speak the truth and just address the issues and face them head on. Where everybody on the left has to have everything set up. They need to be able to just spew their nonsense talking points that
Gotta
are
have questions. Gotta have the questions ahead of time.
it's got to be scripted. It's got to be pre-planned. It can't be off the cuff, and they can't actually. What I see and why I can't stand listening to these events or whatever is because it's just like Karine Jean-Pierre. They
No.
speak a whole lot and say a whole lot of nothing,
Yeah,
and it's so
absolutely.
frustrating to even just like you have said nothing this entire time, or you've just straight up lied. And
Well, and just think about it though. Who's out speaking to groups every single day? Who's out on TV every single day? Who's doing whatever you want to call them, campaign events publicly in front of the news media every single day? And who's been the candidate pretty much for the last 40 days and has done none of that except in two very controlled environments, the DNC, and I think she did one other thing, but everything else has been private fundraisers where she's not speaking to the public. She's not giving any policy descriptors whatsoever, other than the two things that she copied from the Trump plan already, with the $6,000 for
child tax credit.
What's that?
Child tax credit.
Oh yeah, the $6,000 child tax credit, and then the other one was the no tax on tips.
Right.
But those are two that have the Republicans. So I mean, how Donald Trump bad, Donald Trump bad, Donald Trump bad. But we're gonna our platform is just gonna be to steal whatever idea they come from and up the amount.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, their only policies or their only issues that they want to address is their right to murder children. Like
Yes.
that's the only thing they want to talk about. As I need my murder rights. I need to be able to have the freedom to murder my child whenever I want to.
Right.
Which, yeah, that sounds great, right? I mean, it's just for that to be the basis of your platform. The Republicans want to take away my right to choose to kill my own child. That's interesting. That's all you got, and now oh man, I think I did hear one clip of Kamala talking about the border, talking about and making all these claims about how Trump is the one who got his Republican colleagues or his cohort or whatever to push against the border security bill that would fix everything. Wait a minute, what are you talking about border security? In what way have you ever even wanted? That was not even a border security bill. That was a let's get more people in faster bill. Right. Not securing the border. You've never wanted to secure the border. You want to leave it open.
We're going to cap it at 5,000 people a week.
Oh yeah. No, the only thing you need to do to secure the border is build a freaking wall and hire more border security that actually can be there and keep people out.
Right.
Like, you don't need a bill. You don't need new laws. You don't need.
But it's a conflation. It's a conflation, right? We're talking. We talk about border security, and all they care about, and all you ever hear them say is, "But they blocked this bill." But this bill had nothing to do with stopping the massive influx of people coming. All I had to do was, we need to find a pathway to citizenship. No, we don't.
No,
we don't. What is the requirement to have a pathway to citizenship for somebody who came here illegally?
Yeah, we have a pathway to citizenship. It's already in place.
Right.
You apply here through the legal process. You wait in line just like everybody else.
And, oh, by the way, under the current law, you wait in the first country you come to prior to entering the United States.
That's an asylum question. Or
your asylum claims at the consulate or whatever. And so, the process is already in place. So it's a conflation to say that bill had anything to do with border security, because they had nothing to do with each other. And it's two completely separate topics. It's two distinctly separate issues that they try to lump together in under this one umbrella. And it's just they're not fooling anybody. And
Well, yeah, they can only talk about it when they don't have any pushback, when there's
right,
nobody there to question them, and so they're going to have a real hard time at debate time when
yeah,
somebody can say, "Oh, how was that border security bill a border security bill?" When you're talking about helping people get in the country,
yeah,
creating more judges to allow
right,
them to come faster, and provide funding to Israel and provide funding to Ukraine. How is that a U.S. border security bill?
yeah.
Explain that to me.
Not to mention the fact that we're not talking about people just coming from South America. I think over the last year and a half, people have come in from 156 different countries. It's no longer just these the third world South American countries that are so poor. No, that's not the case anymore. You've got people coming in from China, you've got people coming in from Iran, you've got people coming in from Russia, you've got people coming in from all over the world.
Yeah, and at a time where it's very important for us to be very defensive, lock down our businesses, and prevent Chinese and Russian companies from stealing our IP.
Yeah,
Um, we need to have a much better system. And when the system is overloaded with illegal immigration,
yeah.
and you
But
can't handle.
I think I said 2 years ago that this is the plan. This has been the plan. The plan is to overload all of our systems. So what does illegal immigration do? Mass amounts of illegal immigration. What does it do? It overruns the judiciary. It overruns education. It overruns healthcare systems. It overruns. Those are the three major systems in our country that are completely overrun because of this. And I think they do it on purpose. They do it on purpose because that's where they're getting their money from. They're getting their money from these PACs and these people that are all about, there should be no such thing as borders throughout the entire world. Yeah, you go to fucking China and illegally try to illegally immigrate into China. Go try to illegally immigrate into Iran. Go try to illegally immigrate into Russia.
Even Australia.
Yeah.
Australia, yeah, you can't do it.
Right.
Like, they will turn you around in your boat or whatever. They will prevent you from even stepping foot on their soil.
Yep. Yeah. So it's all bullshit, and I think that there is again, the DNC, the convention did not move the needle, and basically the honeymoon period is over, and you're going to start seeing she's going to have to come out and start talking, which is what they want to avoid because she cannot speak. And so the more she has to do that, the absolute worst of a candidate she's going to be shown to be. And that's just going to be the end of it. I think we have 80 days until the election. And if they think that the Joe Biden basement campaign is going to work for her, they're going to be sadly mistaken, I think.
I think that's their only option. I don't see anything that's going to go well for her other than what she's doing in the attack Trump and make it about Trump's a terrible, terrible human,
right?
And lie, and yeah, that's all they can focus on. But
Yeah.
But so I mentioned it. What kind of boost or what kind of impact do you think that the RFK decision is going to have on the election process?
So if for you guys out there who don't know, if you don't know, RFK Jr., who was a Democrat, was not allowed to run in a primary against any other Democrats, left the party, became an independent, was running as an independent, has just yesterday formally dropped out. Well, he suspended his campaign. And there's a reason he suspended it and didn't end it. But he suspended his campaign and he formally and publicly endorsed President Trump. So interesting things that I heard about that were his voters that they talked to, because I think they kind of knew this was coming for a while, because he's been having issues getting on certain ballots, and it just wasn't going to be feasible or viable. His candidacy just wasn't going to be viable. So they've actually polled people that said that if it was Trump versus Harris with no RFK in there, who would you vote for? And it was a 60-40 split for Trump. So a 60-40 split averages out to, 3 people 2-1, which equates to about a 2% positive net positive gain for Trump. And if all these polls that say that, it's all 1 point difference. Some say Trump's winning, some say Kamala's winning by a point, Trump's winning by a point. That 2-point swing right there puts Trump up. Now, I think the polls are bullshit. I think it's the media's way of just trying to get people to stay on the Harris train longer. So I honestly don't think it's close, because if you look at the 2 major issues, which are immigration and the economy, Trump's up 19 points on immigration, and he's up like 14 or 15 points on the economy. So if those are the 2 main things that, since day one, even when Biden was running, they said that those were the 2 major issues, and he's up that many points. There's no way these polls are that close.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't make sense. But I'm inclined to think that the Democrats still have a huge edge when it comes to the voting process, and manipulating that process in some fashion. It's funny. I still hear interviews with Bill Maher, and every chance he gets, he puts his foot on people's throat to say Trump lost the election, right? He lost the election. You can't say anything else without sounding like a crazy person who doesn't believe in our democratic process.
Right.
I hate that argument. I hate pushing that, because you can acknowledge that, yeah, the election was Trump lost, and and had a peaceful transition of power, without saying that, hey, how can you're comfortable telling me that the election was completely legitimate and there was no no manipulation, no, even if it was within the laws and the rules, but the expansion of the mail-in voting, allowing this stuff to go on for weeks at a time, or even days, whatever it is. There's too much opportunity for stuff going wrong, and there's plenty of proof out there that there's a lot of stuff going on that is not legitimate. So to just demand that everybody bend the knee, and just acknowledge that the election system is perfect and Trump fairly lost everything. That's really hard to say, and you're not a crazy person if you don't just jump on board with that.
Yeah. So here you go. So you got a week ago, on this topic, a week ago, the district attorney in Houston, Texas, announced felony charges of a voting poll station worker for doing shit they weren't supposed to do in the election. June 25th, you got an Arizona election worker who was charged for allegedly stealing the security fobs for the voting machines. That's in Maricopa County. Let's see. Yeah, and then in Houston, Texas, there was another Harris County election worker was charged with 6 felonies after investigations revealed that they had done improper things during the election. So yeah, you can tell me that it didn't happen, but when you see, that's just 3.
And that stuff is so buried. It's so hard to even really kind of come by and see, and it doesn't get brought to light. It doesn't get broadcast.
March,
And
March
people say,
20,
"Oh, that's just one place." It's not. It's not widespread. It didn't have an impact. Um,
March 2024, Milwaukee election official found guilty of obtaining fake voter registrations. I mean, right there, I just gave you 3 different states with 4 different accounts.
yeah, and honestly, I don't care what side's doing it. I don't want to see it
Exactly. And
anywhere.
that's why I
Like,
didn't say it was Democrat or Republican. It's just there were
yeah,
things that were happening during this election.
I would, yeah, and I wouldn't stay quiet, and I wouldn't say, "Oh, well, at least if it's on our team, it's fine." No, not at all. I want a good, clean process because if you don't have a fair election process, you don't have a country.
Right.
You don't have a legitimate democracy or system or democratic republic, whatever you
Yeah.
want to consider it. But that's it's not uh, it's not something that you want to say only when it's good for me. It's fine. So I want a good, clean, fair process. I don't care who it favors, or who. I don't want it to favor anybody. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and so on RFK, what I meant to say also is I'm very interested in his endorsement because if he just backed out, you still said that gives Trump like a 2% edge just for him dropping out. But I think him throwing his endorsement behind Trump is a very uniting event, and I think that does make it difficult even for the people who were the never Trumpers and said, "Hey, I need an alternative. I can't vote for Trump, but I'm surely not voting for Kamala. Maybe I'll sit this out." And I think his endorsement will get maybe a few more people to come out and say, you know what, that I think I agree with that. It's definitely uh, Trump may not be my favorite person, but I cannot stand and
Right.
can't deal with the crazy extremist policies that we're dealing with now. And it's from the economy standpoint, I was hearing numbers today and the insane increases in inflation and prices. It's not even just bad. Like bad would be like a 5 to 10% increase. We're seeing like 50 to 100% increases in the primary things that people spend their money on, the consumable stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, that to not acknowledge that and people, everybody that's going out there and the people that are being interviewed and saying, "Yeah, I'm behind Kamala. She's doing great. The economy is booming." Are you high? I just like we're done with this conversation. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah. I mean, I guess you're just going to continue to do that. You're going to continue to vote for your downfall. Um,
Well, but
go.
we have those people. We have those people on both sides, right? So those people are the people that know. If they're blue, I'm voting for them. If they're red, I'm voting for them. Those are the sheeple of both parties. But that's not the percentage of people that win you elections. Those people are never going to change. It doesn't matter. You could put freaking Adolf Hitler on the ballot if he's a Democrat or Republican, and people are going to vote for him because of the party he's running for. I just there's just that group of people on both sides that are never going to change. I've always voted blue. I'm always going to vote blue. I've always voted red. I'm always going to vote red. Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not where you win elections. Where you win elections and where you win these Rust Belt and states is with that 6 to 8% of middle of the road and completely independent people.
Well, you know what? I'd like to say that you're right, but actually, I think we know that that's not necessarily true because I want to say it's the informed voters, the people that are at least semi paying attention, are the ones that are winning the elections. But honestly, the sheeple that we're seeing, we can prove that like 2020 was a result of those people winning the election for Joe Biden. Because if you went by um, number of counties, like
Right.
red across the board, there was only a handful of these giant cities, and they're full of just the sheeple. The
Right.
people, so there, that's what really won the 2020 election, was being able to get enough of those numbers that just dominated those cities
Hmm.
and took the state, even though the vast majority of the state was red. The
Yeah.
cities turned them blue, and that was it. And even California, I think California is that way. Looking at
Yeah.
uh,
I think, two counties in California that dictate the entire state. It's no different than New York City dictating
Pennsylvania,
how the vote goes for New York.
Philadelphia. If you took out Philadelphia and Pittsburgh from that state, uh, extremely red.
Yep. Maricopa County from uh, Arizona or Georgia. If you take out Maricopa County, basically the rest of the state is red.
And
Uh,
even not with that, even not excluding any counties, Trump won every single state if you counted in-person voting only, and
mhm.
Biden won every single state if you count mail-in voting only.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. It just goes to the mindset of the type of voter
Mhm.
who believes in a legitimate process.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a huge difference, right? Why
Yeah.
is it that way? It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, like I said, we're coming down to it. I really hope that a lot of that stuff has been cleaned up.
Hmm.
You don't really hear a lot about it,
I don't think so.
so we're going to have to see. But I think that if something similar were to happen in this election, you know, they're saying how Harris is so much better than Biden, so she should get 90 million votes
Hmm.
because he got 86 million. I mean, he got more than Barack Obama, who was the second coming of Christ for the Democratic Party.
Yep.
And so if Harris, if Harris is better than Biden, she should get 90 million votes during this election cycle.
Yeah, and that speaks to, there's a lot of variables and how social media is impacting things, and there's a lot of young voters who are coming of age, and they're the ones that are involved in social media more and more. Um,
Most of them don't vote.
that's what I'm asking. Kind of like, will social media get them to come out and vote?
I think
Because
social media will play a part in getting them excited to talk about the issues. They still have to get off their asses and go out and actually vote.
I think there's a crap ton of these protesters and Democratic extremists that are out in the streets that will not even show up to vote.
Yep.
They just,
Look at the protests that went on outside the DNC. You didn't see that at the RNC,
yeah,
and that's their own party. That's the progressive wing of the Democratic Party that was out there in droves.
mm-hmm.
I can't remember what they were calling Kamala, what her nickname was, but it wasn't nice.
No surprise.
So that's a huge. And again, this is where the Democrats have to decide what's going to give them more bang for their buck. Are they going to continue to piss off these progressive, liberal, pro-Palestinian groups, or are they going to cement themselves behind the elite white liberal Jewish voters that vote Democrat?
Yeah, I think it's a sign of the left eating themselves, and that's
Yep.
something we've said for years. Is they continue to do that. It's the competition to see how far left you can go, and I think that's only going to get worse for them, because it should be the case that this far left extremist people, these progressives, are going to continue to be just a small minority, and I hope it stays that way, and I hope it gets worse and worse.
Yep.
Or these people that want a communist America, where everything's free, you get to take everything from the elites, I guess, and dish it out to the people, and so everybody will be poor, except for a handful of the elites that are running everything in the government, and everybody will be happy because they have nothing. Everybody will have equally have nothing.
Well,
That's
and I think another sign that you can take, and I didn't mention this earlier when we were talking about the convention, the Democratic National Convention. One of the things that was very interesting was who wasn't there. A lot of high profile, in very, very tight races in their states, senators and congressmen were not there. They wouldn't go. Well, if she's so great, and if her policies and her, she's such a wonderful leader, you should be there just for the pure clout of having your face shown with your nominee.
Yeah, well, and I think people are rightfully concerned and have a big problem with, as they should, that this is not a democratic process. They installed their candidate, and people, I can't believe there's not more people that are outraged by this. Is it like, well, I'm happy with her, so I don't care. That's
No, my favorite one is, well, when I voted for Joe Biden, it was the Biden Harris ticket, so she did get my vote. No, she didn't.
no, 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 she didn't. And still, that's not even the case when it comes to the primary this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I feel like they shot themselves in the foot. I'm kind of shocked that we're even having this conversation. I felt like the climate of the country, the temperature of the country, around the time that Joe Biden was falling apart, going and in the debate, where it was just like over for them, and everybody knew that the economy was trash. Joe
Yep.
Biden can't function. Um, Nothing really should have changed by installing a new, talking piece, mouthpiece, whatever, for the Democratic Party. It's still the same Democratic Party that's driving this country into the ground. Um, Nothing's changed. So that mentality should be like, hello, I'm getting punched in the face every day, economically. My opportunities are withering away. Our children's opportunities to go to school and get jobs and own a house, that's going away. The security of our country is going away. We don't have a border anymore. Crime is terrible for that reason. You know, that's that's it. I mean, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And so I don't know how it's not continuing, not going to be um, just a dominant election for the right. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And again, I think this debate on the 10th of September is going to be, um, I think the beginning of the end is already here. Like I said, the honeymoon period is over. Now, will the media do everything in their power to try to conceal the fact that, you know, she legitimately cannot talk about the issues? Yes, they will attempt to do that, but it's going to become more and more evident to many people very, very quickly after the debate, because she can't debate. If you fluster her, and Tulsi Gabbard 100% did it and shut her down and actually made her drop out of the race last time.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, and so if I'm pretty sure if Tulsi Gabbard Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, is that her name?
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking of Gabby, whatever her name is.
We're gonna call it Gabby Tulsard.
Yeah, her. I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump can do the same, because she's not going to be able to answer the questions.
He's gonna surprise everybody if he is able to hold back and not go for the personal attacks and talk about a race or whatever, and he's just going to stick to the issues. I hope he gets good counsel that is able to keep him on track and tell him exactly why he did such a good job against Joe Biden. He will surprise people if he's able to contain himself a little bit and not do what he did, which I think he will. I think he will. I don't think I don't think he's going to resort to that. He doesn't need to. He knows that he's done a good job. And if you compare 4 years to 4 years,
Yeah.
we have a great example. So
Yeah. There's really no discussion if you look at the policies and you look at the state of the country under both. And she can't run away. As hard as she's trying to run away from the Biden-Harris last 3.5 years, she's not going to be able to run away from it. And she's going to have to explain it. And she's going to have to explain, oh, when I become president, I'm going to do this on day one. Well, why the hell haven't you done it over the last 3.5 years? She's going to have to answer that question. What's stopping you now? What's stopping you from driving back to Washington, D.C. right now, going into the White House and start working on getting this stuff done? There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah, she's not blaming Biden, saying, nope, unfortunately we weren't able to get this stuff done, and this was his plan or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's ridiculous for an incumbent to be running on how much better things are going to get, and we're going to fix all this stuff. The only thing you should be saying as an incumbent is, hey, we've been making great progress and we're going to continue to do that. That's not what she's saying.
Right.
She's saying we're going to fix everything that the Republicans screwed up. Why haven't you done that in the last 4 years if that was the case?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it is getting late. We've been on here for almost an hour now. We won't bore you anymore with our conversation, although I don't think they're boring conversations. I think they're pretty good. But we will most likely be back on Tuesday. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. And hey, just look at it this way. You got one full week of work and then you got a holiday weekend. And actually, we got a holiday weekend, with that following Monday off, and then I'm off that Friday too. And that Friday just happens to be opening day of bow season.
Do we have Monday off? Oh, okay. Nice.
Yep, 2 weeks or not this Monday, but the next Monday.
Yeah, that's true. No, I forgot. I'm going camping. I'm going away. So I guess for some reason I forgot Monday was off. Yeah, that's awesome. It's Labor Day. Yeah.
Labor Day
weekend. Yeah. Sweet.
All right. Well, we will be back on Tuesday and we will see you then. Have a good night, Jenny.
See ya.